There's gonna be a really long bloopers video.
Oh my god, I didn't know this was on. Hi guys, this is Kara. I've been gone forever, but I'm here doing a collab with my really good friend Natalie from TheBookShell25.
Actually, this is your channel, and we have my chalkboard.
We have her chalkboard in the back.
This is
here.
Mine is
This is Reader of the Awesome. Yay. Okay, so we're here to do the influential book tag, and we haven't shared with each other what we chose. Yeah. And we're supposed to just like spout them off and give like really tiny synopsises of why we chose them. So Natalie, since you're the guest, you can go first. What's your first book?
First book is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. One of my favorite books ever. Taught me about feminism, taught me about crazies, just is awesome.
I have never read that book, but I've heard a lot about it.
It's amazing.
It's really good.
You will probably read it at some point.
I probably will
read it. As an English major, you will be forced to.
The first book that I chose was the book. I can specifically pinpoint the book that got me into reading. And it was Paper Towns by John Green.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really kind of like, that's not the one that a lot of people think about. They think of like The Fault in Our Stars, Looking for Alaska.
It's like Tiffio's. My second book is The Giver by Lois Lowry.
That's on my list too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which one is? It was just one of those books that I've read so many times and I love it, and it like, you know, it's like the start of, it's a utopian, you know, but it starts all that dystopian stuff for everyone.
And I think that I chose it for similar reasons, but one of the most, like, specific reasons that I chose it was because there's a scene. So there's a decision that Jonas has to witness regarding twins. And it, like, hit my my heart. Yeah. It hurt my feels, because I am a twin, so.
But that book is amazing.
That book is definitely
I actually have Gathering Blue as my next one.
Gathering Blue?
It's a...
I've never heard of it.
Well, there is, for those of you that don't know, The Giver is the first one, and then there is a series, it's not a series, but it's a series of companion novels. And so it's The Giver, and then Gathering Blue is the second one, and it's a totally different world. This one's completely dystopian. I think I have a video review of this one.
My next one is a little lighter. It's Anna and the French Kiss.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, by Stephanie Perkins. Like right after I read Paper Towns, I found YouTube, like BookTube, and that was one of the most popular ones, so I decided to read it because I'm a follower. Probably one of my favorite contemporary.
My next one is The Fault in Our Stars. And The Fault in Our Stars, is The Fault in Our Stars?
It's actually not on my list.
I think a really strong reason on the list, because like, friggin' Nerdfighteria, I wouldn't have known about this whole like universe of the internet of like awesome people without this book.
The next book, if you have ever seen any of my videos, it will not be a shock.
Oh, I think I know which one it is.
Okay, which one do you think it is?
It's Fablehaven.
Yeah. The reason why I choose this book is just because it is literally one of the like best books in regards to like adventures.
My next is Aragon, and pretty much the whole Inheritance series, because those books are what got me into reading. Like, in the very first place, like, I read Aragon when I was in 4th grade, so I was freaking 10 years old when I started that series.
I've never read it.
You should. I mean,
I've seen the movie.
Oh, don't see the movie.
I heard it's really horrible. The next one is like super totally different from Aragon. It's forbidden.
It's forbidden?
Yeah. I talked to her about
incest
it a lot.
book?
Yeah, it's about incest.
She talks about the incest book a lot.
I talk about the incest book a lot. This book, I was gonna say touched my soul. I don't know, the writing style and the story was the deepest, saddest love story I have ever read to this day.
Oh gosh.
It is so good. And the family dynamic in it is just like...
Well, it's a book about incest. I would expect the family dynamic
but the other
to
siblings.
play in. Oh god.
There are
there's other siblings.
Yeah, there's other siblings.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's super good. I would recommend it to anybody.
That is a recommendation right there.
Yeah.
My next one is Divergent. Surprisingly. Don't talk to me about the rest of the series. I really like how 4 doesn't like coddle her, you know? A lot of the times the love interest, like the really good love interest in YA books will be like the guy who like pampers you and treats you like a baby, and I don't always appreciate that.
Yeah, no.
It's like I want someone who's like, she can handle her shit, but I will help if she needs me, and I liked that, so.
Right.
That was a cool, I liked that dynamic.
I agree. I almost put Divergent on my list just because of the similar reasons. Like, I really liked the dynamic between 4 and Trish, and it was really fresh.
Yeah, it was really cool.
My next one, I don't think you've read this one. It's Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta.
No, I haven't. I haven't read Jellicoe Road.
It was one of the ones I picked up because a lot of people had told me to read it, and it was so good. Yeah, it's written like fragmented, so like one chapter will be set in the future of the book. Like,
oh, that's cool.
It's all the scenes aren't in chronological order. And so it like messes with you, and like, oh, it's super good. You guys should read it.
I want to read that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next book is Willow by Julia Hoban. This book is about I think she's 16, possibly 17-year-old girl, and her parents die in a really bad car crash, and she was driving because her parents were tipsy. That book meant a lot to me at the time because she's like doing a lot of self-harm, and I mean, I've never gone through that, but I've been in some pretty bad places, and I remember this was one of the first books that I read that really talked about that stuff.
Next book on my list is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. The story is just so well written, and it's one of those books that when people ask you for recommendations, it's one of the first ones that comes to mind.
My next book is Speak by Laurie House Anderson, another book like Willow, which just talks about stuff that I hope I never have to deal with ever. I think that sounds like the most horrible thing to me. It's like being raped. It's like how there's so many different things that it affects you with, you know, physically and emotionally, and you can never leave that.
I don't know if you read this one, but it's Water for Elephants by Sarah Green.
I have not read Water for Elephants. I've heard mixed things about Water for Elephants.
The book?
Yeah.
I loved the book because it was, again, one of my first adult books that I've read when I was younger.
Yeah.
And the movie was coming out, so I read it the month before the movie came out. The movie was terrible. Don't go see it.
The movie was terrible. Okay.
See it. It was awful. They literally combined 2 characters into one person. They literally did that. What? Yeah. I'm not.
That is like 80s movie book adaptation shit. Yeah. What is that? I can't do that anymore. My next ones is the Little House on the Prairie series, because those are the books that my mom would read to me when I was younger, and so the first chapter books I heard, and I remember not liking them too much, but they just mean a lot to me, you know, sentimental.
Yeah, stuff. I have a sentimental one on mine that I can skip to right now. It's the R.L. Stein.
The R.L. Stein
Fear
books.
Street, not Goosebumps. I was super snobby about it. When I was in middle school, I'd always say, like, I don't read those Goosebumps. No, I read Fear Street.
The other one.
It was, the only difference was the Fear Street ones were more realistic, like murders, and
I thought
not
they were like the
so
more
much
grown-up ones.
If you will. They were more grown up. But they were less on the like paranormal aspect of things.
Yeah. My last book is Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. This is a book I read in about 7th grade, and it was one of the first books that talked about like the afterlife, and it interpreted it in a really creative way. It let me know that like you can think about things like that and interpret them however the fuck you want. Like you don't have to like just believe things that someone says is true.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The last one that I have on my list is a series, and it's a series that I read when I was younger.
Okay.
And a lot of people haven't heard of it, but it's called the Daughters of the Moon series. Have you heard of it?
I've never heard of it.
It's basically about these girls that are daughters of the moon, and they each have like a special power, and they have to fight this bad villain. It's pretty, you know, like. Yeah, but I read all of them in 7th grade, and it took me like the entire 7th grade year to read them all, but they were just such a huge part of, like, I mean,
of like your reading experience.
Of my reading experience.
Do you have honorable mentions, like off the top of your head?
Honorable mentions?
Like if I had honorable mention, it would be like Magic Tree House books. I read all of those when I was younger.
Oh yeah, I read
Arthur books when I was younger. Junie B. Jones.
Yeah. Okay guys, well that wraps up the influential book tag with Natalie. You guys should go check out her channel at TheBookShell25.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
We're gonna do some videos over there, and yeah.
Maybe more in the future. Definitely more in the future.
Probably more in the future.
Definitely more.
We're gonna mess up Claire's bookshelf.
Yeah, plans. We're gonna mess up my bookshelf.